The song is super popular right now. Here are the lyrics, just so that you can think about it. We're talking about anxiety. Here it is. Anxiety, keep on trying me. I feel it quietly, trying to silence me. Anxiety, sliding off of me. Somebody watching me. It's my anxiety. In some ways, no truer words spoken, right? And by the way, the song is from Dochi and really popular on TikTok right now. So it was my inspiration for today's conversation. Hi, everybody. Salima here. And I'm a yoga therapist. I've talked to literally thousands of people about anxiety, how it shows up, what to do about it, how to do the things, how to keep on living life with anxiety kind of floating in the background, watching what's happening. So here are some other words to name anxiety. Okay, so if the word anxiety doesn't resonate for you, maybe you've heard these ones, or maybe you relate to these ones. A feeling of overwhelm, a feeling of nervousness, a feeling of impending doom. There is something hiding in the shadows that really you have to somehow prepare for or be aware of, but you're not quite sure what that is, okay? That's called impending doom. And it could show up as constriction. It could show up as fear. It could show up as confusion. There are so many ways to describe anxiety that the word itself doesn't quite fit everything. But let's take a crack at it, okay? So with this very broad understanding that anxiety can show up in many different ways for many different people, let's focus on the fact that number one, it is a dysregulation of the nervous system. Okay, let me say it in lots of different ways so that you can click into what it means and how to help yourself. Your nervous system is an information highway. You've probably heard me say that before. And it's true. And in order for a highway really to move you from this point to this point efficiently, everyone has to be moving at a certain speed, and there needs to be no slowdowns. There needs to be no traffic. There needs to be no obstructions. And these are really good ways to think about how our body works and how the nervous system in particular works. Okay, so we're starting off here in a place of, I really want to get this project done. And we want to take the fastest path to get there, which is just to sit down, type, dump all the information from our brains into a document, organize the document, and then submit it or finish it. And here's the challenge. We sit down, and then we get distracted. And then we get overwhelmed by how many ideas we have, or we procrastinate. Oh my goodness, I have dishes to do and laundry to do and the kids to pick up, and there's another piece of anxiety. And there is a lot to unpack, even in just that starting place. And then we start working, and then we tell ourselves it's not enough, or it's not good enough, or the ideas suck, and then we get really close to the deadline, and then we get sick, someone gets hurt, and then we end up not submitting, or it's less than what we think. Okay, so that's all the drama that can go into seemingly simple task where anxiety is in the mix. And so what's happened there? There's some beliefs that are in the way. There's some internal dialogue that's in the way. And there are competing ideas or competing tasks that want your attention. All of that plays itself into anxiety. And so how do we work with that? The first place is to drop into your nervous system. Pay attention to how your body's feeling. When you sit down to do that task, is your body feeling calm and relaxed? Or do you need to go take a walk? Do you need to go and do some Kundalini Yoga? Do you need to do some breath of fire? Any of those kind of activities will calm down your nervous system so that you can start to work on the task at hand. Now, here's another piece. When you're working with your nervous system and you have anxiety, this is the perfect time to work with meditation. When your nervous system is heightened, that's the time when you want to step it down. And long, slow, deep breathing and a meditation, I'll drop 2 recommendations below this video in the description box. Those meditations are designed to dial everything down, to give you a flat surface to work on. Okay? It's kind of like when you want to write something down and the surface is bumpy and you can't quite get the words out. We want to soften and flatten the surface so that you can actually do the thing that you need to do. Okay, so that's number 1. When you have anxiety, you're looking for calming experiences. You're looking for ways to relax. And when you relax, it's much more easy, it's much easier to find your way into a place of rest and digest so that you can get the job done. You're also signaling to the body, hey, I don't have to stay at this frenetic tempo. I can actually dial things down. That comes from slow movement, slow breath, slow ideas, just slowing everything down. And that itself might feel a little scary, and that's okay. We're acknowledging that. Okay, it's a little scary to slow things down because I don't know what's going to happen. And at the same time, you know, as well as I do, that keeping everything at a really frantic pace isn't helping either. So we kind of have to take those risks and dial things down. The other piece around working with anxiety is that we need to do a practice consistently. I know. Discipline is a really tough idea. What do you mean I have to do it? What do you mean I have to do it every day? What do you mean I have to do the same things every day? I know, right? We live in a culture where variety and different things every day, and lots of it is how the system works. And here we want to stop that system of more, harder, faster, stronger, and we want to move into a place of gentle, slow, relaxed, singular point of focus so that we can start to dial down our initial responses, okay? And remember that anxiety can be, for some of us, it can be a learned experience. We learned that we had to be on high alert in order to take care of business while everything else around went chaos. Or there was nobody else watching the show, so we had to be responsible for everything. And so these are some of the roots of anxiety. Doesn't mean it's true for everybody, but these are some of the roots. So we want to now start to retrain our nervous systems, looking for a commitment to a daily practice. You're in the right spot. Kundalini Yoga works very, very well at that. And we want to approach it with, okay, if discipline doesn't work for you, then the idea of devotion. Devoting a little bit of time every day to our higher purpose, to our well-being, to feeling a little better. I devote time and energy to keeping myself clean. I devote time and energy to staying in contact with my kid and my partner. I devote time to communicate on social media. These are all devotions. So a different way to look at that is to say, how can I operate from a place of love? Not fear. Sometimes discipline pulls up the idea of fear, but a sense of love and of compassion to what it is that's necessary. Now, how do we tie all that together? We have consistent daily practice, devotional practice. We have the idea of dialing things down. And then the next one is to be surrounded by people who also want a similar journey, who are looking for techniques, who are looking for ways to enhance what life has already brought, and to be grateful and to find a new path forward. And that means parking, making peace with, accepting where we are now, and finding an open path to move forward into. Because anxiety might have become even part of our identity. It might just be, hey, this is the way that I am and nothing can change, or I've built my life around defending this particular part of my personality or taking care of it. And what happens if I start to unravel it and it's not as intense as it was before? And what if I have more room to pursue all the things that I really want to do in my life? Those become bigger. The more you start to heal, the more of those opportunities come forward. And I want to invite you into this practice of Kundalini Yoga to allow your nervous system to get there. And then I want you to take one more step, and that is to really pursue your education in this spiritual journey, in this journey of Kundalini Yoga. Why? Because the future requires this of us, that we feel regulated, that we feel self-confident, that we are self-aware enough to navigate all the stuff that's happening in the world around us. And the only way to do that is to trust ourselves. And trust is one of those things that is a little bit hard to grasp, but once you have it, it becomes unshakable. And I want that for you. I want that for all of us, that we become unshakable in the midst of everything. We are standing still, rock hard, rock steady. And with that ability, we become foundational for other people. We can hold space. We can move mountains. And so here are some ideas that I wanted to share with you, okay? Work with your nervous system. Try a variety of practices here on my channel. I'll link a few below so that you can get started with that. And then come into a bigger community. Come into a place of understanding and compassion and others who are walking this walk with you. Because loneliness is like terrible. Loneliness means that we only focus on ourselves. And when we're only focused on ourselves, our problems get bigger. And I want to welcome you into a place where you can start to unload, to offload, to share those experiences and make them less dangerous and more human. Okay? So the links for Kundalini Yoga training are below. The links for all the different ways we can work together are below, including the other practices that I mentioned before. I'd love to have you along. It is time. And so let's do that. Lots of love. Until next time, my name is Salima, yoga therapist. See you soon.